Why need water? Washing constantly.
See, because he's recording. Counter short. Just lean back. Yeah, there you go.
Can you grab that?
Oh, just this?
Yeah, just so he can take everything.
No, I don't take it.
Yeah, you're good. You don't have to go that far back.
He kicks me out with the phone.
Just
Okay, now. Thank you.
Where's the picture from last night?
didn't work.
It didn't work?
I'm so sorry.
I don't know how these things work.
Here. Is that good?
I guess so. Just
What's
salt
the
water.
working out good?
Yeah. Oh, Ate, careful. You got me nervous.
I know, I wish
My goodness.
That was smart. What did she do? She
Did I
almost
fall?
knocked everything.
No, you almost fell.
She fell. How did she
I
fall?
know, I wish I
I
would
don't
have
really have
fallen.
any, I forgot.
No, water. Is this okay?
Yeah.
You just have water, my water is
You
good.
want-
Thank you.
I got juice and water and seltzer. Oh, I gotta put this salad dressing on.
Lola, Win Dixie, those bottles, $3 for $5.
Oh, that's very cheap. We should get some.
Can I have some wine, please?
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
wine now.
can I sit now here?
Here, go ahead. But
Yeah, it's okay.
You can move up a little.
It's okay, it's okay.
Scott, can you put some here?
All right.
Make your stuff
Give me two.
Yeah, give this to my father. That's a lot. Father, I want here,
What do you want? All right. So now we're going to start the Passover
You know, not
Seder.
because she doesn't want
Yeah,
me to.
okay, let's get the
This is
second
take
page.
2. Passover 2013. Take 2.
Try
Ready?
it out first,
Go.
make sure it works.
Go.
All right. Are we on? Are we recording?
We're on.
No, no,
All right, we're on.
where is she with the seven?
Let's go to get my
Rika, did you eat that?
Yeah.
Come on. Golly.
I cannot read.
You have to go to
Did
that.
you get one seven?
No, Scott.
Why do you keep getting up and going down and going up and going
So can I move now?
Scott.
Oh,
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I thought we were ready.
We just gotta do a
All
short
right.
service.
Starting again.
Service, okay?
All right.
Just make sure you have some.
Say it, please. Place on the table. It's
Just
not
move back.
really there.
It's
It's all right. Okay, you got it right there. All right.
Plate, and then you use it.
Yeah.
House number for the Seder plate, include the following.
It's okay. Just 1 second.
I know. Roasted good.
Phone.
Oh yeah.
Can you lean back? Or?
No, she can even go forward so
Oh, you're good now.
so the camera can see.
All right, you can move forward more if you want. No.
Oh. You know, it's backward.
All right.
All right.
Okay, Passover 2013. Take 2. We're on the second. This is the second night of Passover, our second Seder. The first one was a washout because our video camera didn't work.
No, it was a nice Seder, but the video
So
camera.
now we're missing a few people, but that's okay. So now let's introduce the Seder plate. We're on page 1.
Page 1.
Let me raise it up so
Where we
everyone,
start from the outside?
viewing audience back home can see. This is the Seder plate, everyone. Okay, we'll point everything out. First, we have the roasted shank bone right here. Can you see?
Yeah.
Not you, you. 2 hard-boiled eggs. Right here, hard-boiled eggs. See? And next we have
Bitter
bitter
herbs.
herbs. Lorna made this herself. It's homemade horseradish. Bitter herbs.
Oh, yay.
Next we have parosette. This is the sweet stuff right here. Parosette, everybody. Next we have karpas, which is the parsley. That's right here. I'll just point to it. Can you see back home?
Yep.
All right. Now the other items on the table are the 3 months. What's the month?
Oh,
Let's put them up.
Oh, what's the matzot?
I just put the cloth away.
You gotta have them up on the table, even if there's no off the phone.
yeah.
No, they're supposed to be wrapped in a napkin.
That cheese.
3 months is in a napkin. Very good. I know, because you're wearing. Look what you're wearing.
Yeah, you gave it to me.
But you're dressed for summer. Look what I'm wearing. heavier stuff.
God, we're gonna see you.
We'll edit it
Scott.
later.
No, you're not gonna edit
Your
anything.
editing skills aren't good enough
Are
for
not
that.
very good.
Not me, it's not my video. Patrick can edit it.
Yeah.
Patrick, in Hebrew, you see,
What do I
go
put it in
from
here?
right
Okay,
to left.
here's the matzah.
It's
Putting it
unleavened.
in here. It's unleavened bread.
Clockwise.
This is the same matzah the Israelites ate crossing the.
Really? It's the exact same
It's
one?
the same ones. Yeah, these are 3 that they never ate. They're 3,000 years old.
Wait, so what's that? That's this and that.
Actually, when they did the Bible,
This is just where
they
we're
showed
storing
it
it.
was like more like
So it's all
pita
that?
bread. Yeah, because it's bread that's unleavened and it's really like
All right,
pita
Pita
bread.
Step back over there.
You did rise.
Okay.
It just doesn't
So that's
rise.
the other stuff on the plate. Oh, then we have the wine, of course. This is the Passover wine.
Jewish one.
Okay.
Put the matzah in here.
And then we have the salt water. Salt water.
Is it good to be there?
And then we have the cup of Elijah. Is this the cup of
Yes.
Elijah?
Yes.
The cup of Elijah.
Did you put some more in?
No, I
Put some more
didn't
in.
fill it. I got to fill the cup of Elijah.
Elijah, they think Elijah's coming tonight.
Elijah comes every Passover.
You know what? We used to open the door at midnight
Oh,
for
yeah.
Elijah. That's what we
Yes.
do.
You open the door at midnight.
At midnight,
Here.
we open the
How do we
door.
have to open the door? Can't he just go right through? He's a spirit.
We always used to open the door and
No, you open the door when he
Where's the
comes in
pillow?
about midnight.
Patrick, you know
The pillow.
Yeah, Elijah.
This is this
Here,
is
here, the pillow's right here. Look at this chair. It's got a nice pillow. Okay, so that's the introduction. Now we're going to do the Kiddush.
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 Okay, let's do it.
inside. You want to lean on the pillow?
Okay.
Here, here's your pillow.
No. Okay, here's the pillow, guys. We're leaning on the pillow.
On your left. On your left. On your left.
Okay, on my left.
On your left. There you go.
Pillow.
It's supposed to go on your left arm. Read your
Whatever. Okay, so let's make the blessing. Ethan, you want to do the blessing?
Sure.
All right, Ethan Ravid is doing the blessing over the wine.
I don't know where to start.
Then we say l'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hadatim.
Give us the English translation because they don't know
Blessed
that.
art thou, eternal Lord God, King of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, that's the wine.
Supposed to drink it all.
Then we'll say the short prayer here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am v'rona mamanu mikol rishon v'kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'natan lanu Adonai Eloheinu v'ahava moadim. Okay, you finish it there.
No? בשמחה חגים מוזמנים לששון את יום חג המצות הזה, זמן חירותנו, נקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים. קיבלנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ומועדי קודשך בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל ועזבנו.
Okay, now, well, we don't have the following because it doesn't fall on a Saturday night. So where do we go next?
Drink more wine. We should do
All right,
Save a
let's
bunch
go
of-
to the Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher hakiyanu v'kiddishanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh.
Well, now we
Drink the wine in a reclining position.
Oh, how many
wine.
wine?
I used the ankle.
Be careful, don't be drunk.
Oh yeah. Let's be drunk with the spirit.
There's alcohol with it.
Now we wash the hands. So when you wash the hands, you say the following. Which is what?
Well, you just pretend that you...
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'adamah. Wait a minute, that's
No.
what happens to washing the hands? Wash your hands. Oh, but do not say the blessing. Okay, so wash our hands. Then the karpas. The head of the house, take some parsley, dip some into salt water, and okay. So we're going to take the parsley and dip it in the water and pass it around. There you go.
One for
There
each
you
one.
go.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
No, no, that's for you.
There you go.
That's for mom.
Anyone else?
Here, Dad, take one of these. It's already broken.
Oh, I got it.
I don't want to.
Okay, so now we say the Karpas blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'adamah. Blessed art thou, O eternal Lord God, King of the universe, creator of the fruit of the earth.
Very good salt water.
Yeah.
Got sea salt.
Okay, yachat. Now we break the middle matzah. Ordinarily, one of these halves would be the afikomen.
Yeah.
But since we don't have any young children, there won't be any hunt for the afikomen tonight, unless Ethan wants to.
I'll hide it, and then I'll pour it.
We'll hide that.
For you?
There's afikomen? Alright.
Ethan,
The afikomen.
are you
It's supposed to, the afikomen is
You're
supposed to be
supposed to
wrapped.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
that the
wrapped.
afikomen stays in that little
Oh, that's
bag.
what that is? Oh,
The
this
little
is
bag is for the
afikomen.
afikomen.
Oh, my God.
Kids.
But
We have one kid.
You
You know, they do that for
We have to go through the
kids.
motion for the viewing audience.
Yeah, for the little audience.
Okay.
These that I got from
So now where are we?
Beautiful.
Now here we have,
Maybe I should
this I have to read.
Okay.
This is,
You can take it home. Oh, thank you.
Okay,
the
Deb.
one I read now here,
This one has.
It's
state
Igbo-Arabic.
sticks.
Go ahead, Deb.
the same thing.
I have a lot of
What dates? Let dates.
It's a,
Page 8.
eight.
this one right here, McGee.
Eight.
I'll have to read it.
Go ahead, Deb.
הלחמה הניאדי אכלו אבטנה בערה דמצרים כל דכפין ייתה ויכוח כל תצריך ייתה ויפסח השתה אחר לשנה הבאה בערה בישראל השתה עבדי לשנה הבאה בני חורים. That's
That's here in Israel.
This is the bread of affliction which our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. Let all those who are hungry enter and eat thereof, and all who are in distress come and celebrate the Passover. At present we celebrate it here, but next year we hope to celebrate in the land of Israel. This year we are servants here, but next year we hope to be free men in the land of Israel. Now we have to do the Manish Shema, that's you.
This is the youngest.
All right, we'll all sing it.
No, not you. We have to do.
Manish Shema, Halayla Hazeh,
Mikol Halelot, Mikol Halelot, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים חמץ ומצה. הלילה זה, לילה זה, כולו מצה. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים שהירקות. הלילה זה מרור. שבכל הלילות אין אנו מדליקים אפילו פעם אחת. הלילה זה שקט.
Yes.
You have an accident.
Whatever, but you got to do it in the right
See,
order.
this one doesn't translate
Are
right.
we done? Wait.
Oh, that one book.
So what does it mean? It means, wherefore is this night distinguished from all other nights? Any other night we may eat either leavened or unleavened bread, but on this night,
Only unleavened bread.
all other nights we may eat any species of herbs, but this night
Only
only.
bitter herbs.
All other nights we do not dip even once, but on this night,
We dip twice.
all other nights we eat and drink either sitting or inclined.
This night we all of us recline. That's typo.
Where?
And this night we all of us recline.
Father said incline.
He's the youngest one. Let him read this.
Recline.
All right, next.
Typo.
When the dishes were placed on the table, the company responds. Because, let's all do it together. Or actually, let's go around. You can want to read, because we were slaves.
When we were slaves in the Pharaoh in Egypt, and the eternal our God brought us forth thence with a mighty man and outstretched arm, and if the most holy blessed be, He had not brought forth our ancestors from Egypt, we and our children and our children's children would still be in bondage to the Pharaoh in Egypt. Therefore, even if we were all of us wise, all of us men of knowledge and understanding, all of us learned in the law, it nevertheless would be incumbent upon us to speak of the departure from Egypt. And all those who speak of the departure from Egypt are accounted praiseworthy.
And it is related to Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Joshua, Rabbi Elazar, the son of Azariah, Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Tarfon, but they once met on the night of Passover in the Nebarah and spoke of the departure from Egypt all that night until the disciples came and said that, Masters, the time hath arrived to read the morning Shema.
Rabbi Alistar, the son of
Azariah
said, Very like a man of 70 years of age, yet I was not able to think that the narration to depart from Egypt should be made at night unto the son of Toma too at it from the following verses. That thou mayest remember the day of thy going forth from Egypt, all the days of thy life, the days of their life, said he, refer to the days alone, but all the days of thy life, including nights, into the doctor. However, say then, that the days of thy life was referred to this world only, but all the days of thy life include the time of the Messiah.
Blessed be the omnipotent, blessed be he who hath given the law to his people Israel. Blessed be he whose law speaketh distinctly of the 4 different characters of children, viz., the wise, the wicked, the simple, and the one who hath no capacity to inquire.
What says the wise son? He asks, what are these testimonies, statutes, and judgments which the eternal our God hath commanded you? Then thou shalt instruct him in the laws of the Passover, teaching him that after the Paschal lamb no dessert ought to be set on the table.
רשע, מה הוא אומר? מה העבודה הזאת לכם? לכם ולא לו, ולפי שהוציא את עצמו מן הכלל כפר בעיקר. ואף אתה, עקה את שיניו, והומה לו. בעבור זה עשה אדוני לי בצאתי ממצרים, לי ולא לו. אילו היה שם, לא היה ניתן.
What says the simple son? He asked, What is this? Then thou shalt tell him, With the mighty hand of the Eternal bring us forth from Egypt, from the house of bondage.
But as for him who hath no capacity to inquire, thou must begin the narration at the end. And thou shalt relate to thy son on that day, This is done because of what the Eternal did for me when I went forth from Egypt.
One might possibly think that the narration was to be given from the first day of the month Nisan. Therefore it is said on that day. Yet as it is said on that day, it might be inferred that only daytime was meant. But the scripture says on account of this, from which is to be inferred that the narration is to be made only at a time when the unleavened bread and bitter herbs are placed before thee.
Originally, our ancestors were idolaters, but at present Lord has brought us meat to his service, as it is said, Rejoice thyself unto all the people, though say it will not, the God of Israel. Your ancestors dwelt on the other side of the river, Terah, the father of Abraham, and the father of Nahor, and they served other gods. And I took your father Abraham from the other side of the river, and led him out of the land of Canaan, and multiplied his seed, and gave him Isaac, and he gave unto Isaac Jacob and Esau, and he gave unto Esau Mount Seir in his possession, that Jacob and his children went down to Egypt.
Blessed be he who observeth strictly his promise unto Israel. Blessed be the most holy, who computed the end of the captivity, that he might perform what he had promised to our father Abraham at the covenant between the parts, as he said. And he said unto Abraham, Know of a certainty that thy seed shall be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them. And they shall afflict them 400 years. And also what make that nation whom they shall serve will they judge. They shall afterwards go forth with great abundance.
Elevate your cups. You can say the next one now.
And it is, I need some wine. And it is that promise which has been the support of our ancestors and of ourselves, For not one only has risen up against us, but in every generation some have risen against us to annihilate us. But the Most Holy, blessed be He, always delivered us out of their hand.
Don't drink?
No.
צא ולמד מה ביקש לבן הארמי לעשות ליעקב אבינו, שפרעה לא גזר אלא על זכרים, ולבן ביקש לעקור את הכל, שנאמר, ארמי עובד אבי ויערב מצרימה, ויגע שם בנתי מעט, ויהי שם לגוי גדול עצום ורב. וירד מצרימה.
I'll do the rest. And he went down into Egypt, compelled by the word of God, and sojourned there, by which we are taught that he did not go down to settle there, but only to sojourn, as it is said. And they said unto Pharaoh, We have come to sojourn in the land, for thy servants have no pasture for their flocks. For the famine is in the land of Canaan. Now, we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen, with but a few persons, as it is said. With 70 souls thy ancestors went down to Egypt. And now the Eternal, thy God, hath made thee as the stars of heaven for multitude. And he there became a nation, by which we are taught that the children of Israel were distinguished even in Egypt, great and mighty as it is said. And the children of Israel were fruitful, increased abundantly, multiplied, and became exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. And numerous, as it is said, I have caused thee to multiply like the growth of the field, and thou hast increased, and become great, and adorned with ornaments. Thy breast is fashioned, and thy hair is grown, whereas thou wast naked and bare.
And the Egyptians ill-treated us, afflicted us, and laid heavy bondage upon us. And the Egyptians ill-treated us, as it is said, Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they should multiply. And it come to pass that when a war should happen, they might join our enemies, fight against us, and depart from the land. And they afflicted us, as it is said. And they set taskmasters over them to afflict them with their burdens. And they built stone cities for Pharaoh, Pithom, and Ramses. And they laid heavy bondage upon us, as it is said. And the Egyptians compelled the children of Israel till labor was greater.
And we cried unto the Eternal, the God of our fathers, and the Eternal heard our voice, saw our afflictions, our sorrow, and our oppressions. And we cried unto the Eternal, the God of our fathers, as it is said. And it came to pass, after some time, that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed in consequence of the bondage. And they cried, and their complaint went up to God. In consequence of bondage, and the Eternal heard our voice, as it is said, God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and with Jacob, and he saw our affliction. This denotes the separation from their wives, as it is said, and God saw the children of Israel, and God had knowledge of their affliction and our sorrow. This denotes the destruction of the male children, as it is said, Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive. And our oppression, this denotes the severity employed, as it is said, And I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptian oppressed them.
And the Eternal brought me forth, as forth from Egypt, with a strong hand and east, and outstretched arm, great terror, and signs and wonders. And the Eternal brought us forth from Egypt, not by means of an angel, not by means of a seraph, nor the wing of a messenger, but the most holy blessed be he, in his own glory, as it said, I passed through the land of Egypt in this night, and I was smite. Every firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and on all the gods of Egypt, I will speak judgment. I, the Eternal.
I will pass through the land of Egypt. I myself am not an angel, and I will smite every firstborn. I myself am not a seraph, and on all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I myself am not a messenger. I, the Eternal, I am he, and none other. With a strong hand this refers to the pestilence, as it is said, Behold, the hand of the Eternal is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep, a very grievous pestilence. And with that outstretched arm, he refers to the sword, as it is said, and a drawn sword in his hand stretched out over Jerusalem. And with great terror, this refers to the appearance of the divine presence, as it is said, or hath God tried to go and take unto him a nation from the midst of another nation, by trials, by signs, and by wonders, and by war and a strong hand, by an outstretched arm and great terrors, according to all that the eternal your God did for you in Egypt. And with signs, this refers to the rod with which the miracles were performed, as it is said, and thou shalt take this rod in thy hand, wherewith thou shalt perform the signs. And with wonders, this refers to the plague of blood, as it is said, and I will show wonders in the heavens, and in the earth blood and fire, and pillars of smoke.
Another explanation is thus: with a strong hand denotes 2 plagues, with an outstretched arm 2 more, with great terror 2 more, with signs 2 more, and with wonders 2 more. These are the 10 plagues which the most holy, blessed be He, brought upon the Egyptians in Egypt, namely.
Okay, now we're going to do the 10 plagues.
Now we all can say it.
Okay, down,
Blood.
wait.
You got to do it in English too.
Blood, Cardea, Frog, Keenan, Vermin, Road,
Fly,
Dever,
Moraine,
we don't know what Moraine is.
Oil.
Shechin,
Oil,
Barad, Ale, let's see,
Arbeh,
Arbeh,
Locust and locust.
Koshech,
Darkness,
and Makat Bechorot.
The firstborn.
Okay, Rabbi Yehuda formed the initials thus. All right, next page.
Maybe we can skip a couple of pages, huh? Let's go to Dayenu.
What are we doing? One of these?
Ilu Hotzianu, Mi Mitzrayim, Hotzianu, Mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu.
The law of
Go ahead, Dan. I can do it.
You want to read it?
I'm just explaining to you.
Okay, no, you want to read
We'll
it?
each do
No,
one.
I already did.
Okay, ולא עשה בהם שפטים דיינו, לא עשה בהם שפטים ולא עשה באלוהים.
We got to do it in English, so
Let's do it in
yeah.
English. We'll do it. Just do the last one in English.
He
All right.
used to say it in English.
Okay, if he had brought us forth from Egypt and had not put the judgment upon the Egyptians, it would have been sufficient.
Are you going to?
No, let's just do one. It's too hard.
If he had inflicted justice on them and had not executed judgment upon their gods, it would have been sufficient.
If he had executed judgment upon their gods and had not slain their firstborn, it would have been sufficient.
22, right?
He had slain, yeah.
If he had slain,
He had executed judgment.
no slain. If he had slain,
The second
If
one.
he had slain the firstborn and had bestowed the wood on us, it would have been sufficient. If he had given us the...
No, one at a time. No, just one.
If he had given us their wealth and had not divided the sea for us, it would have been sufficient.
If he had divided the sea for us and had not made us pass through on dry land, it would have been sufficient. Shall we read the next
Okay.
one?
If he had made us pass through its midst on dry land, and had not drowned our oppressors in the sea, it would have been sufficient.
If he had drowned our oppressors in it and had not supplied our necessaries in the wilderness during 40 years, it would have been sufficient.
If he had supplied our necessaries in the wilderness during 40 years, and had not fed us with manna, it would have been sufficient.
If he had fed us with manna and had not given us Sabbath, it would have been sufficient.
If he had given us a Sabbath and had brought us to Mount Sinai, it would have been sufficient.
If he had brought us near to Mount Sinai and had not given us the law, it would have been sufficient.
If he had given us the law and had not led us into the land of Israel, it would have been sufficient.
If he had brought us near the Mount Sinai and had not given us the law, it would have been sufficient.
If he had given us the law and had not led us into the land of Israel, it would have been sufficient.
Do you want Grandpa to do the last one? Okay.
Well, if you do it in English, I'm not doing it.
If he had led us into the land of Israel and not built the temple, it would have been sufficient.
How much more are we indebted to the manifold bounties which the omnipresent hath bestowed upon us? He brought us forth from Egypt, executed judgment upon the Egyptians and their gods, slew their firstborn, gave us their wealth, provided the sea for us, caused us to pass through its midst on dry land, drowned our adversaries in the sea, supplied us with everything during 40 years, fed us with manna, gave us the Sabbath, led us to Mount Sinai, gave us the law, brought us to the land of Israel, and built the holy temple for us to atone for our iniquities. Rabbi Gamliel saith that whoever does not make mention of 3 things at the Passover feast has not done his duty, namely the sacrifice of the Passover, the unleavened bread, and the bitter herbs. So you can do the last one of that.
אילו הכנסנו לארץ ישראל ולא בנה לנו את בית הבחירה, דיינו. דיינו.
Paschal Lamb, your turn, Warren. Read the Paschal Lamb.
Where?
Bottom of page 23.
Oh. The Paschal Lamb which our ancestors ate during the existence of the temple, for what reason was it eaten? Because the omnipresent, blessed be He, passed over the houses of our ancestors in Egypt. He said, Ye shall say, It is the sacrifice of the Passover unto the Lord, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when He smote Egyptians and spared our houses, and the people bowed themselves and worshipped.
This unleavened,
Show the marks, huh?
this unleavened bread which we now eat, what does it mean? It is
You've got to show the bread.
eaten because the dough of our ancestors had no time to become leaven before this King of Kings, the most holy blessed be He, revealed Himself unto them and redeemed them as it is. They baked unleavened cakes with the dough which they had brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not carry, neither had they made any provision for themselves.
Show the bitter herbs, huh?
Bitter herbs.
This bitter herb which we eat, what does it mean? It is eaten because the Egyptians embittered the lives of our ancestors in Egypt. As it is said, they embittered their lives with hard bondage, in mortar and brick, and in all manner of labor in the field. All their labor was imposed upon them with rigor.
In every generation, each individual was bound to regard himself as if he had gone personally forth from Egypt, as it is said, And thou shalt relate to thy son on that day, saying, This is on account of what the Eternal did for me, when I went forth from Egypt. Thus it was not our ancestors alone whom the most holy, blessed be He, then redeemed, but us also did He redeem with them, as it is said, And He brought us forth from thence in order to bring us in, that He might give us the land which He swore unto our ancestors.
Therefore we are bound to thank, praise, laud, glorify, extol, honor, bless, exalt, and reverence Him who performed for our fathers and for us all these miracles. He brought us from slavery to freedom, from sorrow to joy, from mourning to festivity, and from servitude to redemption. Let us therefore sing a new song in his presence.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
Okay, maybe we can advance.
Okay.
All right, we'll skip hallelujah. Elevate the cup of wine and say,
And after that,
Blessed art thou, O eternal Lord God, King of the universe, who hast redeemed to us and our ancestors from Egypt, and hast brought us to the enjoyment of this night, to eat unleavened bread and bitter herbs. Thou, O eternal Lord God, and God of our ancestors, mayest thou bring us to enjoy in peace other solemn feasts and sacred seasons which approach us, that we may rejoice in the building of thy city and exult in thy holy service, that we may there eat of the sacrifices and of the holy paschal offerings, whose blood shall be sprinkled upon the side of thine altar for thine acceptance. Then shall we, with a few hymns, give thanks to thee for our deliverance. And now, and for the redemption of our souls. Blessed art thou, eternal, who hast redeemed Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei
V'yagapen.
Now we can drink.
are you boiling that?
I know.
Tell me what you want.
No, it's
Okay,
okay.
we're almost there. Now we wash the hands and say, we'll wash the hands.
You want something for the...
Let's have water.
Yeah, I have water.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Blessed art thou, eternal our God, King of the universe, who hast sanctified us with thy commandments and commanded us to wash the hands. Motzi matzah. Take the two whole matzahs and the broken one and say the following. Okay, let's say this. You want to do that? You do that.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam,
Lechem min haaretz.
Blessed art thou, eternal our God, King of the universe,
bring
who
forth
was.
breath from the earth.
Okay, next. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat matzah.
Matzah.
Blessed art thou, eternal our God, King of the universe, who hast sanctified us with thy commandments and commanded us to eat unleavened bread. Take some bitter herbs, dip them into charoset and say. This is the hard part. Why do you take the bitter herbs, dip them into charoset?
Well, just you
Don't
take one
put
and
too
the
much
other.
down.
Yeah, just
Because
I'm
it's
scared.
so tiny. Yeah.
This is
Oh,
the
Remember
bitter
the
herbs.
red? Do you have the red one?
Yeah, you want to?
Well, I'm sure.
Bring it down.
I made that.
We're eating dinner.
That is horseradish.
Oh,
And everyone's
It's
got to
made-
have
I
some of
made
this.
it
It's very
It's
potent.
Scared, Mom. Scared.
from the roots.
I'm a little scared.
Don't put some on her because she can't eat
I'm a little
alone.
scared.
It's a little.
I'm a little scared.
Mommy,
I don't know. I'll do
Scared.
that.
Pat, you gotta be careful. It's hot.
yeah. I'm not sure
But it's
about
good for your throat.
Why?
Right?
Yoshi?
No.
Lona, isn't that good for
Yeah.
the throat?
So you made, what did you do? Work, just grind up some horseradish
We
root?
went to the, yeah,
Where?
we went to the Winn-Dixie in Normandy.
Oh.
They have a whole, all aisle, all produce, all, you should go there. They even have a big sign, says kosher.
Yeah. They had a lot of Passover stuff. That
Okay,
I
this
told
one's
you.
just gonna
Huh?
have
Tons of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, this is only sweet.
I hope this is good stuff.
You mixed it with the two things?
Okay, stuff.
Let's
You
say
ready?
the blessing. Who's going to say it? Ethan?
Maybe we should cover one with the other.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror.
Amen.
I don't know if it's
Scared.
like you.
Tell me. Someone tell me. Is it bad?
It's not spicy.
It's not?
That's it?
No, it's not hot.
Maybe because it didn't grind very well.
Mine is hot.
No.
Good job, hotter than that.
Perfect, Mom.
My God, the one at the temple was horrendous.
Do we have any hotter maror than that?
Come on.
Did
Must
you
be
bring your
very
own
dry.
maror?
No, she has a
Not
super hot. She's got the super
No,
hot.
I
it's
want
not.
the super hot.
I don't think
Is that the
so.
same taste except that it's
All right, break the undermost muscle and distribute it with some bitter herbs and haroset and say. Did we do that?
Yeah, you're supposed to do just the bitter herbs first.
Shem, where did you put the?
Thus the
What?
Hillel during the existence of the Holy Temple
What?
took unleavened
Nothing.
bread and bitter herbs and ate them together
Did you
in
find
order
out
to
that?
perform the law. With unleavened bread and bitter herbs shall they eat.
Really good.
We good.
Now we got into the Shulchan Aruch,
What's that?
the Shulchan Aruch,
The feast.
the festive meal.
Okay, thank you, sir.
We did it.
Now
And
let's
that
open
is
it
the
up.
end of part 1 of the Seder. Now we're going to eat, so we're going to turn this off so you don't see us all with our grubby hands all over.
You have to stand up.
And then we'll turn it on later.